TVWAN News is proudly brought to you by
BSP, our bank, our people.
Good evening. This is TV1 News. I'm Maricela Kilaton.
And I'm Jasmine Nero. Join me later this evening for sports news.
A dawn raid conducted by police officers in Medan resulted in the arrest of a murder suspect who had been on the run since February this year. The murder suspect is alleged to have been involved in the murder of a man during a fight in Jiwaka on February 25. Medan Provincial Police Commander Superintendent David Sena Jr. said the suspect had also been implicated in the 2020 killing of a Melanesian national at the public tank outside Medan town. He was charged and convicted by the National Court on December 18, 2022. The PPC said he will be following up on why the man is not in prison, as he is a threat to the community. A composite team of task force and CID officers apprehended the suspect and 4 others in the early hours of Thursday, March 16, 2023. While he was detained, the others were cautioned and discharged. A new community health worker training school was recently launched at the Assemblies of God Okari campus in Ley, Morbe province. The new AOG CHW school is the second of such an institution in Morbe, after the Brown CHW training school in Finchafen, operated by the Evangelical Lutheran Church of PNG. Morbe Province now has 2 community health worker training schools following the launching of the Assemblies of God CHW training school at the Okari campus in Ley. The event on Friday, March 17, was attended by Morbe Governor Luther Wenge, Provincial Administrator Max Bruton, and Chief Executive Officer of the Morbe Provincial Health Authority Dr. Kipas Binga. Pioneer principal of the school, Jason Jambui, is one of the health educators in the country. He was recommended by the health department to assist AOG with the establishment of their new CHW school.
Health worker training school is a frontline health workers. They are first line health cadres. Next to after them is a nursing officer. Like they were community health worker, mostly with dealing with the community, especially from health center. And it's a 2-year program. It's a certificate program and a 2-year program. First year we already have 40 students enrolled. This is their 2nd week now. And next year we'll be enrolling another 40, and we should have 80 every year.
Jambui, who is a general nurse by profession, said the students will be graduating with 2 certificates, one from the AOG Community Health Worker Training School and a medical license from the medical board.
And medical board is the one that will guarantee them where there is any position vacant in any hospitals around the country, hospital, health centers, and community health posts, and even aid posts. That's the level where they will go and work with or attach to.
Jambui emphasized the need for more community health workers, as they have the potential to extend healthcare services to vulnerable populations, especially those living in remote areas.
We have a ratio of 1 nurse to 2,000 patients. So this school I just finished one from SD in Jiwaka, which is already heading to 19 CHW in the country, and this one will be 20 now. There will be 20 schools, 20 CHW schools in Papua New Guinea. We have experienced the health cadres workforce, shortage of health workforce in the country, so this one will bring a number to the National Health Department HR, especially for human resource in the health department.
The Pioneer Principal has a postgraduate bachelor in nursing management education. He has been working with the National Health Training for the last 15 years. The National Housing Corporation is one of the government entities that has so many legacy issues to deal with in terms of corruption and other illegal activities. Minister responsible Dr. Kobi Bomareo admitted this on the floor of Parliament today. Minister for Housing Dr. Kobi Bomareo has told Parliament that the Housing Ministry has a process in place to conduct eviction on illegal tenants. He explained that eviction will only be implemented after no compliance followed from the tenants. Dr. Bomareo was responding to an eviction exercise on a family in Port Moresby's Gerhu suburb, which was raised by Member for Abao. The family had been living in the current property for almost 40 years.
Can the Honourable Minister for Housing review the process of eviction of our citizens in such situations? This family was living in this property for 46 years. He claims that he has no outstanding rental arrears and that he received a 24-hour notice from the court, and so he was moved illegally. Another citizen went inside. Honourable Assistant Speaker, I believe that the Housing Minister will have to bring some humanity side of eviction processes in this regard, and I strongly recommend to the Honourable House that this process be never repeated to another citizen in this country.
Me agree with them, member. I'm a duty place for government. The government to strongly look out for people belong good. To provide them decent home belong, affordable home belong. No, those who start finish inside long houses or residential houses, housing companies, how well we can protect them all. No, give them a house go back long all. The department work less stop long.
Dr. Kobi stressed that the Marape-Rosso government is committed in providing affordable housing to all citizens in the country. Housing is among the United Nations human rights key priority areas. He added that most evictions are done illegally and investigations will be conducted into such circumstances.
Behind him law, housing government corrupt. Now you tell corrupt, what's housing corrupt? Minister before him, this before, leader before you blow, corrupt in this housing. You blow corrupt in this housing, in this way. So now people are trying to help him, please comply with the people. Or workman inside too. Workman, you know what I comply with them. You know behind him law, workman no sabe, you know behind him law, you out. You out.
A commissioner and 2 deputies of the Independent Commission Against Corruption have been appointed through a transparent process conducted by the Transparency International (PNG). Prime Minister James Marape said in Parliament today that all 3 ICAC commissioners are expatriates with vast experience in dealing with corruption. The commissioner and 2 deputies for the Independent Commission Against Corruption have been appointed through a transparent process. Prime Minister James Marape said all 3 ICAC commissioners are expatriates and have a lot of experience in dealing with corruption. The appointment committee includes the Chief Justice, the Leader of the Opposition, and he as Prime Minister. They screen and make the appointments.
And in the final appointment recommendations, we only recommend him. Chief Justice, we sit down, legislative committee will appoint him. Opposition Leader is sit down, legislative committee will appoint him. Prime Minister, sit down, legislative committee will appoint him. So there was a mixed, qualified committee to appoint the ICAC commissioners. Seth will handle them, and we've already appointed the commissioner and the 2 assistant commissioners. A letter of offer was made to them. They have all accepted.
The Prime Minister said the work of establishing the ICAC began in the 2nd Parliament but was not fully established until the 10th Parliament. Marape acknowledged the contributions the former regime led by Peter O'Neill is pushing through the ICAC bill.
On the issue of Ombudsman Commission, we like also talk clear, we are not, ICAC will not assuming role of Ombudsman Commission. Ombudsman Commission and look long email line stop analyze long leadership quote as well. Mr. Assistant Speaker, may also talk as Mibla said in ICAC is fully functional. We will also look holistically in the reviewing and clarifying role of Ombudsman Commission so that M can work less clear, especially lo Mibla line he can report long Ombudsman in response to our leadership roles.
The Prime Minister then clarified that the ICAC will not take over the roles of the Ombudsman Commission and gave his assurance that a full review into the role of the OC will be done once the ICAC is fully operational.
Milag also looks out along the previous O'Neill government. Only start making some work, but the matter come reach in Parliament. He stopped short. I'll give him notice now. The vessel only Karam in 2014, 2015, thereabouts, fell short of coming straight to Parliament and for Parliament to set up the law.
Meantime, Marape said Parliament has also passed the Proceeds of Crime Act for leaders to declare undisclosed wealth and live within their salary range. Meantime, Prime Minister Marape has urged all citizens to report corruption to relevant authorities rather than posting on social media. Marape made this call today in response to relating questions raised by Mosby Northeast member John Kaupa.
Leaders will stop there like making corruption and stuff. No can accuse him to solo Facebook. You got evidence? File him before ICAC now set up, you got ombudsman or policies. Put him evidence for you go along police na ombudsman beyond put him go ICAC. Facebook, no police station. Facebook is not a police station. Facebook in Ombudsman Commission office. Facebook in ICAC.
Governor General Grand Chief Sir Bob Dadai today officiated at the swearing-in ceremony of two judges of the National and Supreme Courts of Justice, the Justice Elena Vitata Batari and Justice Jeffrey Shepherd. The Judicial and Legal Services Commission has reappointed Batari as a judge of the National and Supreme Court of Justice for a period of 2 years. Jeffrey Shepherd has also been reappointed by the Judicial and Legal Services Commission to be a judge of the National and Supreme Courts of Justice for a period of 3 years. Chief Justice Sir Gibbs Salika and fellow judges of the National and Supreme Courts were present at this event. This is TV1 News. Stay tuned for more after the break.
With BSP Internet Banking, you can enjoy your banking at home, at work, or wherever you are. BSP Personal Internet Banking allows you to view your accounts and transactions, transfer money, bill pay, schedule future payments, or access your bank statements. Visit your nearest BSP branch to register now. BSP Internet Banking, the smarter way to bank. BSP, our bank, our people.
It's that time again! Scale Rise is giving you the chance to win some Scale School money for 2023. Over 220 winners, 4 fortnightly draws, that's 55 fortnightly winners. Cash prizes starting at 1,000 kina, 2,000 kina, 3,000 kina. They also have consolation prizes of 500 kina. Buy any Scale Rise or Ori Rise to enter the promotion for your chance to win the Scale School money. Terms and conditions apply.
Scale Rise, the brain changer.
Open Lens.
the help of Palmolive Naturals shampoo and conditioner with these 3 quick and easy tips, I'm going to show you that more natural, beautiful hair is achievable. Step 1. Massage your scalp during washing with shampoo. Step 2. Apply conditioner to the tips of your hair. Step 3. Gently towel dry your hair. There you have it. For natural, beautiful hair, use Palmolive Naturals shampoo and conditioner. Have a great hair day.
Welcome to MotoGP. To be a highly dramatic 18-lap Malaysian Grand Prix Moto2 started with...
So that's a very decent middle sector for the Alpine. They only half a
They have crashed! They've gone into each other! What a start for Will Davison. Di Pasquale has been swamped.
Some of the biggest and most talented egos in sailing.
The 2-time defending champions make it 2 in a row.
Welcome back. Vice Minister for International Trade and Investment Kessi Sawang reaffirmed the words of Prime Minister James Marape that Papua New Guinea is capable of feeding the world. Sawang said currently we continue to import food that can be grown and processed in the country to feed ourselves and process and export to other countries, specifically to Asian countries.
In a press conference on Monday, 20 March, Member for Rye-Coast and Vice Minister for International Trade and Investment Kessi Sawang emphasized that Papua New Guinea has to manufacture its agriculture food commodities to feed itself instead of importing them.
Import bill for Papua New Guinea is very, very high. For example, the rice, one commodity alone, is around an average of 750 to 800 million a year. So you can see that every day millions of plates of rice are served throughout Papua New Guinea. We are actually transferring our wealth from Papua New Guinea to the farmers in Asia to buy this rice.
Sawang attested to the scientific evidence that Papua New Guineans are original farmers.
Actually, after the Garden of Eden, scientific evidence shows that we Papua New Guinea are second after the Garden of Eden in the Bible. We've been actually farming for over 10,000 years. That's up in the Cook Valley. You find that.
She adds people to shift their thinking and that the government has made the right decision to establish the ministry, tasking it with the responsibility on how to grow the economy. Creating an SEZ is one area.
Replacement of food imports, like I said about rice, or even dairy. Like we used to import 400 million kina worth of dairy. Now with the Ilimo, we are still importing around 300 million when Ilimo has taken care of about 100 million. We import 200 million kina worth of potato, chicken, So when you add up all these food commodities and food that we import, like we Papua New Guinea can produce our own food.
She emphasized the validity of developing the agriculture food industry to make money, adding that Papua New Guinea could earn money from cocoa, coffee, oil and gas, but at the end of the day, the money is spent on food. Thus, it is only logical to develop the food agriculture to downstream processing, where it is consumed domestically as well as exported to reduce the bill of import in the country. Frida Kana, TVWAN News.
The Papua New Guinea Cancer Foundation and Scripture Union Papua New Guinea have signed a memorandum of understanding to start working together as implementation program partners, reaching out to teenagers across the country. The partners met on Friday, March 10 to officiate the partnership for the next 3 years.
Scripture Union Papua New Guinea is a leading organization that brings integral human development support to teenagers using evangelistic tools that focus on important aspects of ministry, including Bible reading guides, leadership workshops, camps, and other youth engagement activities. PNG Scripture Union Director Jacob Vavine and Scripture Union PNG team representatives joined PNG Cancer Foundation Executive Manager Priscilla Napoleon and Renee Maru, PNG Cancer Foundation Programs Coordinator, to sign the MOU to start working together in reaching out to teenagers across the country. PNG Cancer Foundation conducts public health and cancer prevention education programs in schools to empower students to make healthy lifestyle choices as a way to reduce their future cancer risk. Programs include the Healthy Teens School Program and the Cervical Cancer Education Programs for grades 6 to 12 students. Napoleon thanked Scripture Union PNG in sharing and supporting the implementation of respective programs, including Scripture Union support to the Foundation's public health activities, especially school-based outreach education programs. Napoleon thanked Vavine and his team for their interest to work together to make a collective impact in the youth space and to bring vital health awareness to secondary school students in NCD and Central Province through the Scripture Union Plan programs. The PNG Cancer Foundation thanked various program supporters for helping to build a bolder cancer prevention campaign in the country. Frida Kana, TVWAN News.
The long overdue defense cooperation agreement between Indonesia and Papua New Guinea was also approved by the National Executive Council and will be a topic of discussion in Jakarta, Indonesia. Minister for Foreign Affairs is in Jakarta to meet with his Indonesian counterpart, Retno Marsudi, on this document among other outstanding matters. His mission continues to Malaysia and then to China.
The other very important one is the Defence Cooperation Agreement between Indonesia and Papua New Guinea. This is long overdue and has been approved by the National Executive Council, going ahead with both PNG Defence Force and Indonesian Defence Force on strengthening their ties, their cooperation between the two defence forces and, of course, our two sovereign countries. And it's going to be a very important meeting and, of course, organising the official visit of the Indonesian President in June this year to Port Moresby, Papua New Guinea. So we look forward to that.
The bilateral relationship between the People's Republic of China and Papua New Guinea will be discussed during Minister for Foreign Affairs Justin Churchenko's travel to China. Minister will meet with his new counterpart of China, Qin Gang. During Churchenko's stay in China, he will travel to Shenzhen, China's sister city, PNG's capital city, Port Moresby. The visit is to renew the sister city relationship with the National Capital District Commission and the Shenzhen City Authority. China will complete Churchenko's 6-day travel to Southeast Asia.
We'll be discussing our economic importance between Papua New Guinea and China, trade being one of our biggest trading partners in PNG, working together with that, but also people-to-people, infrastructure, education, health and development as well. We'll be discussing these issues with China, how they can assist PNG and how we can help each other.
Minister for Foreign Affairs Justin Churchenko says certain senior heads of departments have been offered positions of high commissions and embassies internationally to represent Papua New Guinea. Churchenko says this National Executive Council decision does not have the Prime Minister's approval as yet. Minister for Foreign Affairs Justin Churchenko says plans to appoint certain heads of departments whose contracts and terms will soon be expiring to overseas missions is yet to be approved by the Prime Minister. The minister was referring to leaked information on the appointments of Dr. Ken Nangan, Connie Samuel and David Were, secretaries for the Departments of Finance, Planning and Monitoring, and Works and Highways, respectively.
We have appointed senior Papua New Guineans to head our missions around the world, and when the Prime Minister signs off and finally approves it, we will make some announcements on those new permanent positions for High Commissioners and Ambassadors that are now being appointed under this government.
Minister Chichenko clarified that although NEC approved, the decision is not yet official until approved by the Prime Minister.
This NEC decision has not been signed off by the Prime Minister as yet, so it's still not official. So someone has illegally leaked this document to you, the media, when it's not even an official document yet or approved.
Nevertheless, Chichenko says the government is offering top bureaucrats these positions to represent PNG with the experience they have at the highest order. The Nadzap redevelopment project is 98% complete. National Airports Corporation Limited Project Director Tom No recently said the last 2% involves the transition phase, while representing the acting MD and CEO Joseph Tupiri during the signing of the training MOU with Lay's National Polytechnic Institute. No said there is still work going on in the terminal building and that the contractual target completion is end of April. The final phase of the project still proceeds. The redevelopment project is co-funded by JICA and the PNG government. No said they plan to do handover takeover after April this year and prepare the tenants, airlines and associated service providers, followed by a process of testing with all stakeholders for operational readiness, activation and transfer prior to opening. The infrastructure at Nadzap is designed to operate international flights. And that ends the news segment. Taking us to break now is the weather forecast for the next 24 hours. After the break, we'll have news from around the region. Stay tuned.
Experience a convenient and smarter way to do your banking with BSB Mobile Banking. You don't have to leave the office or your home to pay for bills. You can view your account balance, transfer funds, top up phone credits, or purchase Easy Pay units wherever you are. Visit your BSB branch today to register now for BSB Mobile Banking. BSB Mobile Banking, the smarter way to bank. BSB, our bank, our people.
When you're spending time with family, when you've got a big day ahead, when you have given it all you've got, when you're putting on a feast, that's when you want the best. That's when you want flame rice. New flame rice. Win him, Olgeta.
Hardware House is more than just a store. It is where quality meets affordability, where culture is proudly celebrated. Spanning 9 provinces, we pride ourselves in offering top-notch customer support and services. We're more than just a store. We're more than a brand. We are Hardware House.
Right across the nation, we eat snacks crackers. Emi trupla. All get a young plan alapun, only like him snacks crackers. Only make him here, no PNG, one-time lay biscuit company. It's crunchy and tasty. It's irresistible.
He says the best Hunters players come from his region. So does she. But there's one thing that brings everyone together. SP Lager. Bungum Yumi. Cheers to 70 years.
Welcome to the John's Family Podcast, people.
Sort of.
What are you
laughing at?
I just thought of something. I don't feel like dancing. On that note, guys, have a good week. We'll speak.
Welcome back. The debate surrounding changes to the safeguard mechanism is more important than ever in the aftermath of the IPCC's latest and final report. The Earth is set to experience 1.5 degrees of warming above pre-industrial levels if global emissions remain as they are. The UN has called for developed countries such as Australia to ramp up their global emission reduction plans.
We've got this week to sort it out and possibly the week after. If the date drags past the 1st of July, it means that meeting the 43% target that's been set by the government for emissions reduction by 2030 is pretty well out of reach, and certainly it's going to make getting to the 2050 target of net zero virtually impossible if we don't get to 43% or somewhere near it by 2030. So while it's just one piece of legislation, it is a very important piece of legislation.
The Pacific Islands have applauded the announcement from the Government of Australia pledging its support for a long-term solution to weather-related extreme events posed by climate change in the Pacific through the Weather Ready Pacific Decadal Program of Investment. Weather Ready Pacific is a visionary, groundbreaking 10-year program of investment that will strengthen the region's ability to anticipate, plan for, and respond to high-impact and extreme weather, water, and ocean events. This is an initiative that was discussed and unanimously supported by members of the Pacific Meteorological Council in 2019. It was endorsed by the Pacific Island Forum Leaders Meeting in 2021. During the recent PIF Special Leaders Retreat in Fiji, Australia's Minister for Foreign Affairs, Senator Penny Wong, announced that Australia will be contributing 30 million Australian dollars to kickstart the initiative. PIF leaders welcomed this announcement at the Special Leaders Retreat in February 2023. A new Indigenous Space Academy has been launched in Adelaide, which will see 5 First Nations STEM students travel to NASA. Space industry leaders say there's a lot to learn from First Nations people, who were the first astronomers of Australia and critical to the future of the industry.
5 Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander students will soon travel to California to work with NASA. The Australian Space Agency says not enough First Nations people are working in this space and hope the internship will foster new careers and pathways. Aboriginal man Joel Steele took part in a pilot program to NASA a few years ago, and now he leads a research team in Melbourne.
It's changed my perspective on where my career could go, on the things that I could do. You cannot simply imagine being at NASA. It's just broadens your horizons.
The internship program will give students currently studying a STEM degree an opportunity to work with NASA scientists and engineers and contribute to space missions, while also learning more about robotics and artificial intelligence. But the industry hopes to learn too from a culture spanning 60,000 years.
One of the neat things about launching rockets from Australia is you do that on country, and so we're committed to make sure when we're launching on country we're developing spaceports. It brings in the communities, creates jobs.
There's expected to be a lot of demand for the program.
And I think if Indigenous people have that voice and opportunity, we can accomplish everything together.
The internship program will cost more than $70,000 and at this stage is only guaranteed for 1 year.
A new report paints a bleak picture of Queensland's housing crisis, with the number of people now homeless up by 200% on 5 years ago. This figure is likely to worsen, with predictions that 220,000 households will need affordable housing within the next 2 decades.
A South Brisbane park is fast becoming home to those with nowhere else to go. Lance Barth is a tradesman. For the first time ever, he's homeless.
A set of circumstances that all happened within about a month brought me to where I am now.
He's been here for nearly 3 months.
This is one part of the city that's homeless, you know. Any way you look, it's phenomenal.
An independent report has found homelessness in Queensland has increased 22% in the past 4 years, compared with 8% nationally. And there's likely to be 220,000 families needing social and affordable housing within the next 20 years.
You need to build somewhere between 1,500 and 2,700 new homes every year.
Renting's not easy either. The report found apartments in Brisbane have risen 23% since 2020. Houses have gone up 33%. Regional areas have been hard hit too.
This is a big issue for families. They are constantly being faced with huge increases in rent, and this is putting a lot of pressure on families.
Spencer Rushton knows it all too well, after couch surfing for 5 years.
I've seen friends build homes and they're not able to afford the mortgages, and I'm like, oh no, that's my future as well if we don't fix this housing crisis.
We need to think about this crisis differently. We need to approach it as a crisis. We need an ambitious strategy and we need investment to match it.
The government says it's committed nearly $5 billion to social and affordable housing and expects to have built 13,000 homes by 2027. Next week it will host its second housing roundtable in the hunt for more solutions.
Back home, Prime Minister James Marape this morning met with South Korean President's special envoy. It is reported that they discussed ways to further enhance the cordial Papua New Guinea-Korea diplomatic relations established on May 19, 1976. These relations have been described as being warm, friendly and constructive, covering many different areas at varying levels from economic, social, cultural and people-to-people relations. The meeting also facilitated discussions on increasing economic cooperation to boost current relations, the PNG government's stance in downstream processing, fisheries, health and police cooperation, among other high-level matters of importance. When we return, we'll have the sports segment with Jasmine. Stay with us.
He says the best Hunters players come from his region. So does she. But there's one thing that brings everyone together. SP Lager. Bungum Yumi. Cheers to 70 years.
Wherever you're watching from, welcome aboard. Joining us on satellite will be Stevie D.
Oh, big hit there. It's got numbers on the outside, and Lucara goes in eventually. Oh, and they're claiming a try here, the Vipers. Still going inside ball. This is a beautiful try. This is champagne football here.
The hostility between these two guys is real.
Objective is putting a beating on Caleb Plant.
Knockout artist and two-time title holder David Benavidez takes on the smooth technician and former champ Caleb Plant.
I need to teach him a life lesson.
He knocks him down! And no one's backing down.
I'm gonna beat the living out of you. You're not gonna do nothing.
Benavidez versus Plant, live March 26th, only on Fight Sports.
Well, folks, after literally years of negotiation between the fan and the management of Steve Menzies, we have secured the great man for the show. Welcome to the Fan.
This is all going through my head, and then all of a sudden he passes it back. Oh, my God.
Today we have enlisted the help of Panthers co-captain and superstar halfback.
When you've kicked it well, you usually know, and especially on the chip kicks, I usually know.
Thanks to Nathan Cleary, invaluable insight for the fans out there, for the kids out there.
Right now, we're facing a man-made disaster of global scale. Our greatest threat in thousands of years, climate change. If we don't take action, the collapse of our civilizations and the extinction of much of the natural world is on the horizon.
Welcome to NRL 360 Rugby League.
Ready to rock town.
I think all the clubs are sitting out there and they're watching this with interest.
Getting the attention of a woman is one of the hardest things to do. So you have got to do this.
This is amazing.
Well, don't just stand there. Grandpa!
Who's up for an adventure? Uh-oh.
Oh!
If we get torn to bits,
Run!
I'm blaming you.
Way to slay the heart.
Welcome back. 6 PNG athletes are looking forward to competing at the Australian Champions in Brisbane after the successful collection of 5 medals at the Queensland Track and Field Championships 2 weeks ago. The championships in Brisbane is from March the 30th to April the 2nd. The athletes have been training in Gold Coast with support from PNG Olympic Committee, City of Gold Coast and Oceania Athletic Association. At the National Championships, Adrien Monagi will take part in the 100-meter and 100-meter hurdles, Danielle Bowell with the 400 meters and 400-meter hurdles, Caro Iga the decathlon, Relly Kaputin long jump, and Sharon Toako with the javelin. Debono Paraka pulled up last weekend with a sore hamstring and is hoping that he will recover in time for nationals. Monagi was in great form at Queensland Championships, clocking personal bests in the 100-meter, 100-meter hurdles and 200 meters. This Queensland Championships pole vault event will resume this Wednesday. The Kumul Petroleum PNG Lewas women's team were crowned champions of the inaugural Pacific Islands Cricket Challenge 2023. PNG beat Vanuatu by 100 runs to 32 in the grand final in Suva, Fiji, co-hosted by Cricket Fiji and the Australian Defence Force Sports.
The Kumul Petroleum PNG Lewas returned home on Monday after taking out the inaugural Pacific Islands Cricket Challenge in Suva, Fiji. It was clean sweep for PNG as the men's academy team also did well to beat Vanuatu in the grand final.
Probably our ladies were, I think, the outstanding ones because of how easy it was for them probably our level was a bit higher than the other girls.
Levers batted first and scored 132 runs with a fall of 7 overs in 20 overs. Sibona Lucy Jimmy top scored with 37 runs, followed by Naomi Vara with 18, Hannah Thomas 15, Tane Ruma and A. Arua with 14 runs each. Vanuatu's turn at bat scored 32 runs, all out in 9.3 overs. PNG then ran out winners by 100 runs to 32 Vanuatu. Upon arrival, Levers vice-captain Tanya Ruma appeared happy and content with the outcome. She said the whole tournament was fun and exciting, playing against sisters from the other Pacific islands, especially Samoa, host Fiji and Vanuatu.
So the Vanuatu, Fiji and the Samoans. So I think it's a really good challenge with playing with the Pacific girls, and also all the girls, they enjoyed that tournament.
When giving her evaluation on the grand final match against Vanuatu and the overall tournament, Tanya said the standard of cricket, especially in the women's games, is still a far cry from the level of cricket in PNG.
We're trying their best, 100% to beat us, but unfortunately the girls are really good at cricket, so we just won the game, the final game. Yeah.
The Levers will break camp for a week before they resume training in preparation for the other upcoming major events. Terry Longwood, TV1 Sports.
Port Moresby Corporate Indoor Cricket reigning champions BSP men have retained the title for the 4th time after defeating Parliament Tambarans 138 runs to 95 in a thriller played at the Amini Cricket Park over the weekend. Both teams went into the contest beaming with confidence after knocking off their respective opponents in the major semi-finals the week before.
Saturday's victory was just a perfect outcome that adds another title to their repertoire since the corporate indoor cricket inaugural season in 2014. BSP have been 3 times reigning champions and now have retained the cup for the 4th time, which is a record in itself. They were up against an equally fired-up Parliament Tamaran side that also had the luxury of a number of regular cricketers in their lineup. However, BSP maintained its title defense with tight fielding and smart batting throughout the intriguing contest. Speaking before the big decider, BSP captain Jeremiah Wari predicted it was going to be a tough final, noting that Tambaran gave them a really good run during the regular competition where they got home by just 1 run.
It's pretty exciting with a new opponent because Parliament have been the other stronger team apart from BSP all throughout the season. So yeah, we anticipate a very tough game.
Opposing skipper Ila Pala said the boys have had a really good run this season and were looking forward to give the defending champions a good run. Apparently fell short by 43 runs.
BSP always a good challenge every time we play. They're one of the best teams in the comp, and they're a benchmark. We look forward to playing them all the time. It's very challenging, but yeah, we like any game, we're always prepared for every week that we play, and this is a big game for us.
President of Port Moresby Cricket Association, Dean Ani, summarized this season's games as a real spectacle, seeing all the teams from the various private organizations coming together, having fun and building friendship regardless of win or lose.
Quite a few cricketers out here, and not only from cricket, but we've had some other basketballers and touch players and netballers playing in the mix as well. So yeah. It's just been a great comp. Everyone coming out to have fun out here.
Terry Longwood, TV1 Sports.
Former Mount Hagen Eagles Rugby League bolter John Walker is still a loyal member of the Western Highlands franchise coaching staff after his playing career ended in the early 20s. Walker, who recently attended a 3-day PNG NRLC trainers workshop in Port Moresby, is now the head trainer of the Eagles, a role that he took passionately and held for the past 10 years.
Former Burley Kumul's pro forward and current Wamga Mount Hagen Eagles head trainer John Walker was Kumul number 200 and played 5 test matches for PNG. Walker, now retired, was one of the many success stories that came out of the Western Highlands Rugby League production line as an elite player back in the late 90s and early 20s. That legacy continues today with names like Nixon Put, Moses Meninga, Junior Rao, Gary Law, Rodney Pora, late George Money and Henry Wan. Waka said he was proud to represent both his province and the country at the peak of his playing career. He added that passion, loyalty and hard work kept him in the game. Waka remains a mainstay of the Eagle system as head trainer, a role he's held since 2013. He represented the Eagles franchise at the recent PNG NRLC 3-day trainers workshop in Port Moresby. At the end of the workshop, its participant was presented with trainer's certificates, prerequisite to attaining an NRL Level 2 trainer's certificate, which is next in line. The training was an eye-opener.
Just I'm a straight law, solo law. People have been learning plenty something. Stop at the previous years, we no got like something, but one la bonus where you mix him law. It's like clinic blue me blood, so me just I'm straight law solo law give me blood. It's like 3 days and give me blood good blood experience law. Me blood go back now. Francis me blood and strong more players now. When I get something, bon law bon blood from here me blood can go and help more class blow me blood.
On the Eagles' preparation for the upcoming Digicel ExxonMobil Cup, Waka said they have assembled a 50-man squad and have organized a number of trial matches with the Goroka Lahanis to finalize their squad.
We belong to the team, so me mix him all 3 weeks. Me running pre-season training, me finish that. Me like some match fitness. Me ask him liners lo come on top, so come on top. Come now, me play one la. To play trial match now, me ready lo. First game, me
The Eagles trainer admitted that the Eagles haven't played finals footy since 2016. The long drought could be attributed to rival clubs poaching key players. However, he praised the Eagles for producing some of the best players in the country who are making a name for themselves today.
Eagles are producing more players. Also stop 1 year beyond. Also go Johnny Mornala franchise. So people producers so still people training all new players or come and people just training solo people stop.
Walker said if all goes well, he's got 2 or 3 more years before he calls time on his career. Terry Longwood, TV1 Sports.
And that ends the news tonight. Over to you, Maricela.
Thank you, Jasmine. Before we go, remember to apply the following simple measures to prevent transmission of the coronavirus. Regularly wash your hands with soap and water. Cough or sneeze into your elbow. And exercise social distancing. If you're feeling sick, please stay at home. You can also call the COVID-19 hotline number for more information or assistance. Thanks for your company. Bye for now.
The TV1 News was proudly brought to you by
BSP, our bank,